37-14.
Yeah.
Georgia carried a 37-14 lead into the fourth quarter in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And then, they were outscored 26-0 in the final frame. LSU wins 40-37.
It is a collapse of historic proportions.
I am absolutely beside myself today. I really am.
I know.
And look, we have to prosecute this. You just have to. The mission today is, well, it's an emergency breakdown.
Yeah, that's could be.
We are not here to just, yell at the clouds. We are going to establish the evidence. We are going to give LSU their deserved credit. And we are going to hold Georgia, specifically this coaching staff, to a championship standard.
Absolutely.
Because the central question hanging over this entire program right now, the thing that is going to keep every fan awake for the next week, is this.
Right.
How did Georgia spend 3 quarters proving, without a shadow of a doubt, that it could beat LSU, only to completely fail to finish the game?
That is the exact question we have to answer. And to do that properly, we have to build the case based on the verified evidence before anyone gets blamed.
Right.
We have to look at what actually happened on that field, mathematically and systematically, before the pure emotion of a blown 23-point lead takes over.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the immediate knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people, especially the national media, is going to be that Georgia just got exposed.
Oh, for sure. That's the easy narrative.
Right, that they went into a hostile environment at night, the SEC caught up to them, and they just got run over by a better team. But if you actually look at the box score, that is fundamentally not true.
It's not.
The statistics show a tight, incredibly competitive game that Georgia was, by all logical measures, winning.
Exactly. When you look at the foundation of this game, the metrics of a blowout win were right there on the table.
Yeah.
This was not a game where Georgia was getting physically bullied for 4 quarters. Both teams had exactly 13 first downs.
Exactly 13.
Exactly 13. Think about that. The chains moved the exact same amount of times for both squads. The total offense was practically a mirror image.
Right.
Georgia had 369 total yards. LSU had 387.
And Georgia actually won the turnover battle.
They did.
They forced 2 interceptions from Sam Leavitt. Kay Bolden had an 18-yard return on one of them.
Yep.
And O. Evans brought the other back 11 yards. Georgia only gave the ball away once all night. Plus, LSU's rushing attack, completely neutralized.
Oh, completely.
They were held to a miserable 52 rushing yards on 17 carries.
Yeah, that is just, that's 3.1 yards per attempt for LSU on the ground.
Wow.
When you go into Death Valley and hold an undefeated LSU team to 52 rushing yards, you've done your job in the trenches.
You've dominated the trenches.
Exactly. Georgia's defense had Sam Leavitt and that entire LSU offense in an absolute chokehold for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The foundation wasn't just solid, it was championship caliber football.
Which makes this so much harder to swallow.
I know.
It's like watching a masterclass surgeon perform a flawless, life-saving operation for hours, and then accidentally setting the operating room on fire on the way out.
That's a pretty vivid way to put it, but yeah.
I have to process this as a fan. How do these solid winning metrics reconcile with a 40-37 loss?
Wrong.
You don't just magically lose a game, you are mathematically dominating across the board.
You don't. You really don't. The numbers don't lie, which means the failure wasn't in the raw physical mismatch.
Right.
To figure out how that fire started, we have to look away from the raw yardage and look directly at the sideline management.
Oh, boy.
And it starts with the most controversial decision of the night.
The quarterback change.
Yeah.
This is where I start losing my mind.
I figured you would.
Let's talk about Zach Spann. The 4-star true freshman starter. He opens the game absolutely flawless.
Perfect.
6 for 6 passing, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
He is carving them up. The offense is humming, and Coach Todd Gurley takes him out and puts in Damien Harper, the 5-star freshman who finishes, 11 of 22 for 101 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions.
Right. And before we evaluate the result of that swap, let's establish why the move was made based on Coach Gurley's own rationale.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because you have to consider the environment. They are on the road in a hostile SEC environment.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge, at night, is notoriously loud. It vibrates.
It's deafening.
Exactly. Coach Gurley stated that he was struggling to get offensive checks and audibles communicated to Spann in that noise.
Okay, but...
Hold on, let me finish the logic here because we have to understand the coaching perspective before we tear it down.
Fine, go ahead.
Damien Harper possesses what is considered a headstrong ability.
Right.
In the context of a chaotic road game, that trait means he has an innate capacity to process complex defensive shifts in loud, hostile environments where a normal freshman's internal processor might get rattled by the crowd noise.
Sure.
Gurley believed that this specific trait would solve the road communication issues. He was trying to manage the environment and ensure the offense could actually function pre-snap without taking delay of game penalties or missing blitz pickups.
I understand trying to manage the environment. I really do.
Yeah.
But you do not take a pitcher out in the middle of a perfect game.
I know, it's tough.
The guy is 6 for 6 with 2 scores. If the checks aren't getting through, you find another way to communicate.
Right.
You simplify the calls, you use hand signals, you run tempo so the defense can't shift.
Yep.
You do not bench the hot hand when you are slicing through an undefeated defense. You're treating a symptom and killing the patient in the process.
And this is where we need to make a crucial caveat. And I want to be incredibly explicit about this, especially given how fans are reacting right now.
Okay.
Damien Harper's not to blame for this loss.
No, absolutely not. I agree with that completely.
He came into a highly pressurized situation cold.
Right.
He threw a touchdown, and more importantly, he threw 0 interceptions. He managed the football.
Yeah, he didn't give the game away.
Exactly. We cannot turn this into a Spann versus Harper talent debate. That misses the point entirely and puts the blame on a kid who actually executed what was asked of him.
Exactly. The issue isn't the players. The issue is the coaching decision to disrupt a working system.
Yes.
You had a machine that was humming. Spann had the rhythm. He had the feel of the game. And you took a wrench and threw it in the gears because you were worried about the noise.
Yeah, it's tough to justify.
Ur's overcoaching at its absolute worst.
The verdict rests on the management of the situation, yes. And to be fair, Gurley himself now admits, in hindsight, that Spann should have stayed in the game.
Well, hindsight is 20/20, isn't it?
It is. But when you have a rhythm like that, especially with a true freshman who has somehow found the zone in Death Valley, you don't manufacture a problem to solve a theoretical one.
Right.
You ride the momentum until it actually breaks.
So the rhythm is disrupted. That's strike one.
Yep.
And then once they build this massive 37-14 lead, Coach Gurley admits the offense became too conservative.
Yeah, that's where the second half fell apart.
And I want to be careful here because being a run-first team wasn't the problem. Georgia is built on running the football, and we saw why.
Not at all. You have to separate a run-first identity from predictability.
Okay, let's stand on that.
Those are two very different concepts. Georgia's built to run the ball.
Yeah.
And Nate Frazier was an absolute monster in this game.
He was unbelievable.
18 carries, 148 yards.
Wow.
That is 8.2 yards per carry.
8.2 yards per carry.
Plus he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
You don't abandon that.
Yeah.
The run game was wildly successful.
Right, so the identity is fine, feed Frazier.
Exactly.
But the predictability is where it fell apart. They stopped mixing complementary calls. It felt like watching a team playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
That's exactly what happened. When you go conservative, you stop running the play-action passes on first down. You stop running the RPOs that keep the linebackers honest.
Right, you just hand it off.
When the defense knows exactly what is coming on first and second down, they just stack the box. And even an 8.2 yard per carry average isn't going to save you in every critical situation if they send 8 guys at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the math just doesn't work.
The sequencing completely broke down, and the evidence is right there on the stat sheet.
Let me guess.
Georgia ended up going 2 for 10 on third down.
A 20% conversion rate.
Yes. And think about the compounding effect of that.
It's exhausting.
You cannot sustain drives, and more importantly, you cannot bleed the clock in the fourth quarter when you are only converting 20% of your third downs.
Right.
You are just handing the ball right back to a dangerous opponent, and you are exhausting your own defense in the process.
Which brings us to the defining, mind-boggling moment of the fourth quarter.
Oh, I know where you're going.
The play that is going to be replayed in my nightmares.
Yeah.
You are up 16 points in the fourth quarter. You've been playing ultra-conservative to protect a lead.
Right.
And what do you call a speed option?
A speed option that results in a lost fumble.
Unbelievable.
Coach Gurley confirmed the pitch, or the exchange, was taken by LSU and returned. And just to be completely accurate to the official statistical record here, because there's a lot of noise online.
Right. Clarify that.
This is a lost fumble.
Yeah.
It is not an interception or a pick six. But the result on the field is catastrophic either way.
It's a glaring, screaming contradiction.
Yeah.
And this is where I need to break this down, because the mechanics of this decision make absolutely no sense.
Walk me through your thinking.
You play ultra-conservative for an entire quarter to protect a lead, running basic dives and predictable runs.
Right.
But at the exact moment, you just need to be boring. To hand the ball off straight up the middle, cover it with 2 arms, and bleed the clock. You call a high-risk speed option?
It's a massive situational breakdown.
National Defense doesn't even cover it.
Yeah.
When you call a speed option, you are intentionally leaving an edge rusher unblocked so the quarterback can read him.
Exactly.
In a 4-minute drill where your only job is to protect the football, you are willingly inviting an unblocked LSU defender into your backfield to force a split-second lateral toss in open space.
Yep.
It is mathematically the highest variance play you can run.
You're entirely correct. The underlying logic of protecting a lead is reducing variance.
Yes.
A speed option requires precise timing, a clean pitch, and exposes the ball in the open field.
It's just asking for trouble.
You were trying to shorten the game, and instead you introduce chaos.
Yeah.
You hand LSU an immediate, massive momentum swing.
Yeah.
It's like sitting at a blackjack table with a 20, deciding you want to play it safe, and then asking the dealer to hit you.
Exactly. That is the perfect analogy.
It just doesn't make sense.
But see, even with that fumble, even with the offensive stalls and the predictable play calling, a 23-point lead entering the fourth quarter should still be safe if the defense just holds up.
Ideally, yes.
If the defense plays even average football, you survive. So why didn't it?
Because the defense that played lights out for 3 quarters suddenly fractured.
Right.
Let's remember, for 45 minutes, they held an undefeated LSU team to 14 points.
They were dominant.
Justin Williams was incredible. He led the team with 7 tackles and had 3 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
E. Griffin got a sack. They were dominant. They were suffocating them.
So how does a dominant defense give up 26 points in 15 minutes? I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah, it wasn't about one structural schematic flaw that LSU suddenly figured out.
Okay.
It was about busted plays and aggressive overreach.
Overreach.
Yeah. Coach Gurley admitted that he remained too aggressive with defensive pressure late in the game.
I see.
He kept sending pressure, blitzing, and exposing his defenders in one-on-one matchups on the outside.
Okay, I hear that, but don't give me the situational adjustment excuse here.
Well, wait a minute.
No, aggression is Georgia's DNA. If we stop pressuring, if we just sit back in a soft zone, we let Sam Leavitt get comfortable.
I get that, but
We let him sit in the pocket and just dink and dunk us to death. If you stop doing what got you the 23-point lead in the first place, isn't that just another form of playing not to lose? Why is the blitz suddenly the villain?
that's a fair pushback, and I understand the frustration. But situational football requires adjustment.
Does it, though?
Yes. Aggression built the lead, sure. But when you are up by 23 points entering the fourth quarter, the math changes.
Okay.
Your number one goal is to make the opponent earn every single inch and to burn the clock.
Right.
You want to force them to sustain 12-play, 80-yard drives that eat up 5 minutes. By blitzing and leaving guys on islands, Gurley gave LSU the only thing they needed: quick strikes.
But you're assuming a blitz automatically means a quick strike.
A blitz means fewer guys in coverage.
Sure.
It means one missed tackle turns a 5-yard gain into a 50-yard touchdown because there is no safety help behind it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that aggressive pressure directly contributed to missed tackles and explosive plays because defenders are put in high-stress, do-or-die positions in open space.
Which is exactly what happened.
Case in point, we are talking about a massive 74-yard explosive play where an LSU tight end just broke a tackle.
Oh my God, that play.
Trades Green finished with 3 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns.
From a tight end.
Think about that math. Sam Leavitt ended up averaging a staggering 22.3 yards per completion.
22.3 yards per completion. That's the video game number.
It is.
You cannot give up chunks of yardage like that when your only job is to bleed the clock.
You can't. The aggressive pressure scheme created the exact environment LSU needed to mount a fast comeback.
Right.
They didn't have time to dink and dunk you to death. They needed explosive plays, and Georgia's defensive play calls handed them the structural opportunity to get them.
All right, I have to take a breath here.
Yeah, let's reset for a second.
Because as furious as I am at Georgia, we have to acknowledge LSU. They were down 23 points entering the fourth quarter, and they didn't fold.
No.
The building could have emptied out. But Sam Leavitt threw for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Incredible numbers.
Harlem Berry had a 51-yard run. They stepped up when the door was left open. They earned the comeback.
They did.
Yeah.
You have to give them legitimate credit. It takes immense mental toughness to stare down a 37-14 deficit against Georgia and execute perfectly for 15 straight minutes.
It really does.
They capitalized on every single mistake Georgia made.
But LSU's brilliance does not excuse Georgia's collapse. It just highlights it.
Yes, that's the key point.
We have to walk through the accountability here because this was a systemic failure in the fourth quarter, and we need to escalate this up the chain.
We do.
We cannot just point at one fumble or one missed tackle.
Let's build the accountability ladder, step by step.
Yeah, lay it out.
At the base level, the players on the field failed to finish tackles. That 74-yard explosive tight end play doesn't happen if the tackle is made in the open field. Execution is a factor. The offense as a unit failed on third downs, converting only 20%. The execution on the field absolutely faltered.
I agree. The players definitely failed in key execution moments. You have to make the tackle. But let's climb that ladder.
Yep.
Who pulled a perfect quarterback out of the game when the offense was on fire?
Gurley.
Who allowed the play-calling sequencing to become so predictable that a rushing attack averaging 8.2 yards a carry couldn't stay on the field?
The coaching staff.
Who called a speed option the highest variance play imaginable while up 16 points in the fourth quarter.
Also the staff.
And who left defensive backs on an absolute island with aggressive fourth-quarter blitzes when they only needed to burn clock.
The answer to every one of those management questions is Coach Todd Gurley.
The verdict is Coach Todd Gurley.
It has to be.
And that is the most agonizing part of all of this. This game was not proof that Georgia lacks championship ability. They proved they have it.
Yeah, for 3 quarters they did.
They held an undefeated team to 52 rushing yards. They scored 37 points. It was proof that championship talent can still waste a championship opportunity through poor management and poor situational execution.
Well said.
They had the game in their hands, they had the blueprint drawn up, and they let it slip through their fingers because they mismanaged the margins.
And the consequences of this collapse, of mismanaging those margins, are incredibly stark right now.
Oh, they are.
We need to look at the reality of the standings. Because the landscape shifted entirely in those 15 minutes.
It really did.
Georgia's now 9-2 overall and 7-1 in the SEC.
Yeah.
LSU's 11-0 overall and 7-0 in the SEC.
Which means Georgia no longer controls its own destiny for the SEC championship.
Exactly.
The margin for error is completely gone. Poof! Vanished in 1 quarter of football. You go from the driver's seat to watching the scoreboard.
But there's a silver lining to all of this. If you can zoom out past the sting of the fourth quarter,
I'm trying.
Georgia is still ranked number 4 in the college football playoff rankings, and they currently hold a first-round bye in the bracket.
Right.
The season is not over.
Right. Coach Gurley believes that beating Georgia Tech should secure a playoff berth. He basically said as much in the postgame.
But we have to emphasize that this is an expectation, not a guarantee.
Right, right.
The playoff committee is composed of human beings, and they will be watching how Georgia responds to this collapse.
For sure.
You don't just get to hand a 23-point fourth-quarter lead away on national television and assume your playoff resume is bulletproof. The optics of how you finish matter just as much as the metrics of how you start.
So where does this leave them going into the Georgia Tech game?
That's the big question.
I'll tell you where it leaves them. It leaves them with no more excuses.
Yeah.
Georgia doesn't need a motivational speech this week.
No.
They don't need a rah-rah locker room moment. They don't need to do soul-searching and find their identity. They found their identity for 45 minutes in Baton Rouge.
They did.
We saw exactly who they can be. What they need to do is finish. You were up 37-14. Finish the damn game.